I'm Detective Brown, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and you are whom, please?
Audrey Adams.
If you would, just tell me what went on, you know, what you did or whatever, you know, your involvement, please.
Okay. I got a call that they needed me to come to intake and assess an inmate that they had just brought in. So I went out to assess him, and when I got out there, he was sitting on the bench, handcuffed. He was a little sweaty, and I asked him what was going on, and he said his chest hurt. And I asked him, did he have any heart problems, and he was like, he had angina. I said, okay, so do you take any medicine? And he was like, no. I said, you have angina and you don't take medicine? And he was like, no, my whole family has a history of angina. And I was like, so who diagnosed you? Oh, nobody. I said, what doctor diagnosed you? He was like, no doctor. I said, well, okay, I'm going to take your vitals. So I took his vitals, and his blood pressure was like 178, 79 over like 88, and his pulse was 70. He was just a little sweaty. His breathing wasn't labored. So I was like, your pulse is good, your blood pressure is good, your breathing is not labored, so, you know, right now I can't do anything. I said, but I'm going to be down here on the floor, so I can keep an eye on you. If you need me, they'll call me.
Okay.
And they asked me, was he okay to go back, and I said yes.
Okay.
And like I said, I didn't see him anymore until later.
You're right. Until he was unconscious or unresponsive. Okay. And you assisted the jail employees in getting his medical treatment going and getting him on the ambulance and getting him out of there.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, today is May the 17th, 2017. It's approximately 8:57 a.m. I'm Detective Brown, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and I'm speaking with Deputy Wolford. Badge number 2539, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So as I was approaching cell 8, the inmates were calling my name and motioning with their fingers, Miss Wolford, come over, you need to come over. So as I approached the door, they pointed, it was maybe 3 or 4 inmates pointed in the direction of the inmate on the floor. They said, hey, you need to get medical, somebody need to check him out, something's going on here. And I didn't have a key, but I looked in the door and I could see his feet and it's part of his leg. So I called him like, hey, who has a key? I need somebody with a key over here quick. So Officer Ramsey came over and he opened the door and he looked in and I looked and I thought, well, we need to get medical over here. And the other officers that were out with the child, they started coming. And when he called for medical over the radio. And in that response, medical was coming, the supervisors were coming, and Officer Ramsey decided to take the inmate out of the cell to get him away from the other inmates.
Yes, ma'am.
And at that time, I went back to the NCIC desk because that post not supposed to, it's not supposed to be left here.
Vacant.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be gone that long. I just said, okay, and
well,
I'm back.
Extenuating circumstances, you know, it happens. I'm Detective Brown with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and you are, excuse me, Deputy Ramsey?
Yes, sir.
Badge number 2976?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And as we made our way to that cell, I opened the door, everybody come out except for Mr. Simmons. He was in the floor, he was breathing, he was talking. I told him, I said to Mr. Simmons, or I didn't know his name actually, just said, I need you to get up, get your tray if you want to eat. And he told me he couldn't. He said he wasn't feeling well, that he needed help.
Okay.
And that's when I walked down the hall. There's a little aisleway where HC8 is. So
yes, sir.
I walked down, trying to get the attention of my co-workers, and I said, hey, I got a guy back here. He says he can't get up. He needs some help. So I had another officer that was feed chow with me.
Who was that officer?
Moore, Deputy Moore. He walked over there with me, looked at him, agreed that he was breathing. He shut the door and he said, let's finish chow. We have two more cells to feed. He said, let's feed those 5 minutes. I was going to come back and pull him out. Because he was obviously not feeling well then. It was about 5 minutes later, after I got everybody fed in cell 2, they were going back in the cell, that Deputy Swafford got my attention and said, hey, these guys need you. And she didn't have any keys. There was one keys on the floor. So I walked back to 8, opened the door, and they said, hey, something's bad wrong. I looked down, I noticed Mr. Simmons was passed out. He was still breathing, but it was definitely shallow.
About what you were telling me about Deputy Moore, was his attitude just kind of not wanting to fool with it, or what?
No, I mean, I think at that moment it was, let me tell you, it was a hectic night.
I
And that's
understand.
no excuse. It was busy. It was
busy, and you were trying to get chow and trying to get everything else.
Yeah, a very busy part of the morning, and the fact that, I mean, we were shorthanded. I was not actually supposed to be first floor officer. I was what they call segs, where you go around, hit the tags. My job's to look in the window, just make sure everybody's okay.
Yes, sir.
Our first shift officer got called out to 68 runs. It was going until about 6:30
Yes,
that
sir.
morning. So we had a lot going on, but I don't think his attitude was like, because it shut the door and we were like, we'll finish and come back and get him out.
Okay.
Because at that time, I mean, it didn't look like it was something that dire.
I understand.
If I'd had any idea he was having a heart attack at that moment, I would have pulled him
I
out.
understand. What is your last name?
Jackson. For Robert Lee Jackson.
Robert Lee?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I went up, man, or when I came back down, the white guy was sweating bullets and stuff like that.
Okay.
I said, look here, y'all, he might not be playing or nothing because look at him. It's cold as hell in here. Why is he sweating so hard?
Right.
I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
And then he started doing it like that. You can tell his heart was hurting.
He was in some sort of pain.
Yeah. I mean, you don't just do stuff like that and tighten up, tighten your body like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he was having a heart attack.
Okay.
And I told the guy, a white dude, some white dude with bald head. He said that the nurse had seen the guy and said that the guy is coming down off what's that drug, meth? Come down off of some kind of drug. I said, no, man, look at him. I said, just look at him, though, man. He ain't coming down like that, not sweating and turning purple and shit.
Yes, sir.
Something going on.
Other than I'm in pain or I don't feel good or anything like that, did he say anything else?
He said that he think he's having another heart attack.
Okay. So maybe he's had one before, we think?
I think so.
Okay.
The way he was saying it, yeah. He said, but they don't believe me. And then he laid down. He didn't say nothing else. He pissed on himself. We tried to let the officer know then that he don't piss. Look, man, he's pissing on himself.
Right.
Yeah, so he's finna go.
Okay.
But
Okay. Did you?
it's kind of hard, man, to be dying like that and no one helping you.
Tell me your last name, please.
Swafford.
First name?
Jackie.
J-A-I-E.
CKIE.
Okay. Tell me what happened.
Well, I'm assuming that it was around 3:30 or so when this inmate came in. He had just come in and he was when he came in he was sweating profusely and he kept pulling his shirt off and on a couple times and he kept yelling that his chest was hurting, that he thought he was having a heart attack. Can you please give me an aspirin or something? He kept saying, "Can I have an aspirin?" And this went on for at least an hour. I'm thinking because it was quite a while before they served breakfast, which is usually around 5. We don't have any concept of time in there much.
Right.
But when he walked over to the door and all of us kept banging on the door, and the guards would come over and look in the window and they say, "He's all right. He's just coming off of drugs." And I thought, when somebody's coming off of drugs like that, you're supposed to put him, somewhere where a guard can monitor him, not in with general population. It was really keeping me weary, so I kept watching him.
Yes, sir.
And he lay down on the floor, and he started just for a while he was just laying there, and he was starting to just turn color. I figured it was just not unusual because he looked like he almost had like a suntan
Yes,
around
sir.
his neck and everything.
Yes, sir.
Well, he kept his mouth open. He wasn't moving much.
So he was red face, red neck.
Right.
And I don't mean redneck, but you know what
Yeah,
I mean.
it was almost like a farmer's tan, and then he started doing like taking his legs and he'd curl his foot in and like he was trying to stretch his leg out, and he was curling his feet in and his arms were curling in, and a little while later, just before when I kept banging on the door, and the guards kept coming there, and he's all right, there's nothing wrong with him, he's breathing. And it was just horrible because I knew the poor man was in pain. He started making this noise, it was like, just like that, and he did it for 20 minutes. And I started beating hard on the door, and And it was just before chow, and he stopped doing it, and then all of a sudden he urinated all over himself. And we were still, yelling, he's pissing shit all over himself. And and I know he was probably dead then, because that's what usually happens when someone dies, I think. But when they came to get us for chow, officer, I can't remember his name now, the only one that really helped, he said, this man needs help now. And Officer Moore was standing there, and he said, and he walked away like he was mad or something like that. And so one of the guys, Weaver, I think his name is, Kenny, whatever his name is, he helped him carry him out into the hallway.
Yeah, Kenny Weaver. Yeah.
Then they were trying to, but then they put Kenny back in. They were trying to revive him, I think, right there in the hallway for a while. Okay. But it was just unbelievable.
Today is Thursday, May 11th. Time is approximately 8:58 in the morning. Detectives Brown and Roundtree speaking with Jonathan Arwood at the Hamilton County Jail, first floor kitchen.
We knocked on the door, beat on the door, telling the deputies more to, the man was having problems. Mm-hmm. Several times they came by, shouldn't use drugs. That's what happens when you eat meth. This was stated by the police.
Do you know who said that?
Moore and the other white deputy. I'm not sure his name. Continued. His condition got worse. As hot as it is in the as cold as it is in that cell. At that time at night, it gets freezing cold. Mm-hmm. The man had no shirt on, sweating bullets. I'm talking about leaning back, discoloring. We're still telling the deputies, hey, the man needs attention. They were ignored. Ramsey came by, said medical had been informed to come by. This went on for an hour or so. Mm-hmm. It was feeding time, so we left the cell to grab our food.
Yeah. Did the guy come out?
No.
He stayed in there.
He stayed in there.
Sitting down, laying down?
At first he was sitting back with his head, tilted back, but he was discolored. We told him to lay down, so he'd lay down on the floor, still gasping for air, changing colors. By the time I came back in with my tray, I said, damn, the man done pissed on himself. That ain't good, guys. You know what I mean? Told Moore, the man needs medical attention. His, quote, words, he's breathing, he's fine.
Did you talk to the guy at all before his condition actually started shutting down?
All he kept saying was, I think I'm having a heart attack. And that's when I was beating on the door. Beating on the door. And all he kept saying.
But he didn't elaborate on anything?
He couldn't. He was gasping for air. He was, you could tell. Like I said, I'm a heart patient.
Right.
So
I got you.
I was trying. But the only thing is, I can't breathe. I'm having a heart attack. He asked the people for aspirin. They wouldn't, can I get an aspirin? They wouldn't give him shit. And like I said, it went on for an hour, almost 2 hours prior, jail time, you don't know. It could have been 30 minutes. Right. It could have been 3 hours.
Yeah.
True concept of time is lost.
I understand.
But I know we beat on the door. Several inmates beat on the door trying to get him help, telling him he needed medical attention. He was trying, and he kept saying, I'm having a heart attack. I feel like I'm having a heart attack. He didn't get shit done for him.